That's more than you make in a year, you rotting liar. That doesn't matter, 'cause I never have to pay. Shiro grins in the way that he has, which makes people want to punch him. The crooked angles of his nose show they haven't always restrained themselves. That is the most utter garbage I have ever heard, Hagen says. I don't believe it for a minute. You can believe whatever you... He stops when Hagen punches him on the shoulder. Not a serious punch, just to get his attention. They turn to face me, and both give a little bow. Boss, Hagen says. Was starting to think you weren't coming. I got a little held up. I survey the crowd. At this hour, they're mostly women, the able-bodied men off at their labor on the docks. They wear practical tunics, hair tied back under colorful cloths, off to work or to haggle for the daily meal. No keys in here. Nothing terrible, I hope, Shiro says. He's new and a little too eager to please, like a puppy. Sometimes I wonder if he takes me seriously. If not, he and I are going to have a talk. Just business, I tell him. Anything moving around here? The usual, Hagen says. Nothing to show they're worried. Let's go worry them then. I slap him on the shoulder and push off through the crowd. The two of them fall in behind me. To an outsider, and maybe even to most of the people who live here, the lower wards look like chaos. A sea of humanity sandwiched between the harbor on one side and the upper wards on the other, living in ramshackle houses built to no particular plan, crooks and brothels and stores all mixed together. If you were to see all this and you were an enterprising sort, you might think it was the perfect place to set up shop. You might start, say, a gambling parlor in the gutted and rebuilt wreckage of an old counting house, fleecing the stupid, the gullible, and the drunk of coins they can't afford to lose. And you might think you owed your profits to no one but yourself, because the emperor's tax collectors don't show their noses around here. You'd be wrong. There are people who will get very upset with you, not because you're taking money out of the pockets of the poor, since that's their business too, but because you aren't paying the proper tithe. They'll start by sending you a message, nice and polite. If you're stupid enough to ignore that, then someone like me will kick down your door. That's the other reason I like the boots. They're good for kicking down doors. The broken-down counting house is 2 stories, made of crumbling red brick, but the roof and much of the second floor are gone. The largest surviving section is the old strong room, a windowless block at the back of the building. Someone has added a new door, an ill-fitting thing nailed together from scavenged planks with a slot to let someone look out. I hope, as I pivot on one foot, that someone's at the slot and that they're not quick. My boot connects with a splintering crunch, and there's a grunt that tells me my wish has been granted. The door opens a couple of inches, a broken bar visible in the gap. A second kick sends it slamming all the way ajar, catching a large man standing behind it in the shins. Already clutching a bloodied nose, he goes down in a heap, swearing. There's not much to the place. A few tables, benches and chairs, big jugs of rice wine, and small colored bottles of liquor stacked against one wall. It's too early for them to be open, so I assume the 6 people inside, 7, if you count the door guard with the broken nose, are employees. I size them up automatically. 2 men are obvious toughs, broad-shouldered bruisers with short swords in their belts and scarred knuckles. 1 woman with a hook nose and a crossbow against the rear wall. Another woman in the corner also looks like muscle, dressed in battered leather, maybe a knife fighter or a grappler. The last 2, a man and a woman, are sitting.